前裏切んのか？
いや。
やろな！ちった疑え！
Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today I'm just filling in for a shorter tournament this week, so I'm doing some film content with Bonney List here. It's a little different than the one I played this week. I'm playing Hawkins here, where I was playing the Rocket Luffy in the version I was playing this week. Otherwise, it is 100% the same. So let's just hop into some games. Ooh, first up we have a mirror match game. They've opted to go first. I think this is fine because we have Hawkins into Robin, which will be a pretty good curve. So we're gonna go ahead and keep. They are gonna get their Bonney first, which is unfortunate, but we'll have to see. Yeah, they do have the Bonney. Do I play out the Otama now? I don't think I will. I want to use it on a future turn where I get both. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Just a 5. I think I will take the first one because I don't have... yeah, that's actually, it ended up working pretty good here. The second one here, I think I will counter this one with my searcher here. We're going to play out Hawkins, use card action, and we're going to swing 7 at their life. And we'll pass. Next turn we're going to play Robin, and then 5 and a 7. Let's see what they play though. This would be curve for Nami, which would be fine for us. If they KO our guy, then we get to burn one of their life. If they opt not to, they do it. We're going to trash their life. Here, I think it's correct to just take another one here. I will use this trigger. I don't think I need 2 boas. Alright, so we're gonna do Robin here and trash another one of their life and then swing a 7. Okay. Now we're gonna get to countering, I think. We have some good stuff. On our following turn, we'll do Stussy into Robin. Okay. We're kind of going back and forth pretty aggressively here. Oh, they're gonna go 5-5-5. Interesting choice there. I'm going to counter and counter and counter. I think this is correct because we'll do Stussy into the Hancock. Stussy, play out Hancock. 2 on Bonney. We're gonna pitch the second Hancock to freeze their Robin. Gonna swing a... They're going to 9 next turn. I'm gonna actually try to hit this one first. Okay, they are going to try to keep them, but they can't do it. So we do get up on board here. Bonnie's gonna suck. We are going to go at their Bonney though with ours. A 7. They're going 10 here. I think it's correct to let a Robin go. And then we're gonna give a 2 and a 1. And then we're going to do Bonney, use card action. We're gonna go on Boa. I'm gonna go 5 at lead. We're gonna go 10. Wait, let me think here. I think we win here. So let's go 7. If they hit it right trigger, they can get out, but they're not going to. So we get to kill them with 11 here. Good game. Definitely a close one. All right, now we have Uta. This will be an interesting one because they've got some new stuff. On this, I think I will keep here the Hawkins and the Lilith to find something later, or just a Boa. Will probably be pretty reasonable. So we're gonna play out you, and we are gonna go ahead and grab the Robin here and pass. So Hawkins into Robin is a pretty great curve if you're going second. You won't always be able to find it, especially because Robin is your main 6-drop. You end up having to play a 5-drop most of the time when you are going second, unless you do find these Robins, which are quite good. There are a couple matchups where Robin is a lot worse, but 5 life leaders are all you're in a pretty good spot. Alright, so they're going to do a 6. We're going to go ahead and take. We're not going to do that trigger. We're just going to hold up for later. Here we're going to play out you and swing. Okay, no trigger, and pass back to our opponent. Next turn will be pretty easy. It'll be swing with Hawkins, then Robin, and then swing with Bonney. Sanji here. Yep, that should be reasonable. They're gonna go 7 at us. I'm going to take here. We do get the trigger, which we are gonna go ahead and use. I don't think we will need this Hawkins, so I will get to this KO here. Alright, quick 5 here. And then trash 1 life and swing. We haven't found our Bonney or Stussy yet, so next turn might be a little less cut and dry of what we do. Opponent's on 8 cards, we're on 6. Ooh, they're down to only 2 life. I wonder what they're playing towards here. The OP13 Luffy, I don't know if it still exists in the deck. Because it only plays out 4s, it's much more awkward with all of the good 5s in the game now for film. Gordon. Are they gonna reveal to... They didn't. Oh, they played it out just so they could do this. Interesting. I think that means that we should do the Nami on this turn here. To just KO the Sanji again. Just keep them off of their guys. I am going to just take here. We're going to take the free here. I think we just need counter. And this Otama is a good finisher in the end game. So we're going to play out Nami. And then we're going to trash one of these boas to KO you. Let's go with a 5. Or a 7, I suppose. 7. I think it's probably better to go 7-7-7 here. Because they have the law here. Very interesting that they took here. I think I'm just going to go with 6 actually then. If they are willing to take here, yeah, that was going to get countered anyways. So I think it's okay that we let that one through. This flame split holding up, if they attack in an awkward order, which they're kind of incentivized to do because most of their guys do restand. The Dawn. Okay, their backlight just KOing. Okay, that's fine. Zoro here. We do get to flame split it, but it won't work because at the end of turn it'll just set it back active. Let's see how our opponent approaches this point. I am going to give up a 1k here. Uta. They're going to set some stuff active here. So we have not found the Bonney yet that we want, at least the Bonney that we are looking for. I think it's correct here to just play out this Bonney. Let's put 1 on it. Let's go with a 7 at lead. And then a 7 at lead. Take here. There's no trigger. I can get rid of this Lilith. And then I think it's correct to do this. Preventing them from drawing cards with their leader here. I'm not even going to swing. Well, no, I'm not going to swing with Hawkins. Because they have a free block in the law. And they can now clear it for free. And us sitting back here on 4 2Ks, I think we are pretty safe here. We'll probably end up taking 1 just so that we can have an extra card. But I don't think that we necessarily need it. 6 cards. Presumably they've got a good number of 2Ks. This deck runs a good number. But I will expect them to do some amount of swings here. They're swinging with one of their blockers. That's an interesting one. I think I will protect, at least with the first one. Especially with these 2 Otamas, if we can hold on to these 2 life, I think it should be pretty easy to finish. All right, I'll give you that and hold on to the Otamas. I don't think I'm going to take any damage this turn, and I think it should be pretty reasonable to finish. If they have Kid, that worries me a bit. Law, pick up Zoro, play down Zoro, restand 2. That's a pretty good angle there. They have 1 blocker then. I don't think that Uta runs any defensive events. So just 1 blocker at this point. We know they have at least 1 2K. Backlight to rest Boa. And another backlight. Okay, I think this should be pretty simple for us to finish here then, because of these Otamas, and we even drew a 3rd. We're gonna use card action. We're gonna go ahead and get it on here. 6 and bottom. We're going to put it on you. Go for 9. And then we can go 7s throughout here. And then 5. And then the rest. All right, that was a good game to our opponent. I think freezing the Uta on that turn could be pretty pivotal because they'd have a pretty good chance of clearing. Well, I mean, not really because I had a bunch of 2Ks, but they would have had a lot more pressure here, plus gain an extra card. Which would work pretty poorly for us, I think. But good game to our opponent. Let's hop into another one. Here we have Green Zoro. So we really want to find our boas here. Let's see if they opt. They opt to go first, which I think I'm going to keep this. I think this Hikinojo might be useful for us here. Maybe I shouldn't have kept, though. Maybe I should have dug for Boa. Okay, Hawkins I think is good. Hawkins is a kind of I want to play Kiku just because. Well, no, I want to play Hawkins first. I want to play Hawkins first because his ability is already active. Whereas if they just clear Kikunojo, I won't have enough to have pressured them down to 3. So Hawkins is the better card here. Let's see how they play it. Kyoshiro, not too much I can do about that, I guess. I think I still am incentivized to take the first one here. If it's only a 5, though, I will counter here. We will give you a Bonney here. So we're going to play Hawkins, use card action, and swing a 7. They take. Not surprising here. They get to do Hiyori, play out a Tashigi protected. I do get to burn a second life, though. No, they do not get to play out a Tashigi if they use Hiyori, okay? Find the Big Shanks. This Big Shanks is... It feels silly to have a card that effectively costs you no Dawn, and you just, with Leader, you just get double swings. 15s. It makes the Bonney much harder to land. We might have to hold on to those Bonnies as they go. Wonder what our opponent will do here. They don't really have... I mean, I guess if they play out Kuina, they can make the Zoro play still, but I don't know how often decks are running that one any longer. Our opponent is tanking pretty hard here. They're still just stacking the bottom of their deck. All right. Yep, I'm gonna take a 9. Robin would have been a great card to find here, but we did not find it, unfortunately. Let's just go 5 at Hiyori here. And then we'll go a 9 at Leader. Hopefully our opponent does give this to us. I don't, yeah. And now Kikunojo is on, so both of my guys can use their abilities, which is great. Let's see what comes of this. They're up to 9 cards. I really wish that yellow had a little bit of ways to punish big hands, because that's definitely one of the downsides to playing yellow decks. You can't get around blockers very well, and you can't get around a really big hand. Your only real way of dealing with those is with burning life. Here comes the Tashigi. We do not have the what's it called at the moment? The Nami at the moment. We could end up hitting it in trigger, which would be great. But let's see where they send this 8. I think it's correct to sing. Oh, they're gonna send it here. I'm gonna let it go and trash one of their life. Then they're gonna go at face. And we're gonna take I am going to use this trigger here. It's probably not correct, but I think that these two swings are going to be a lot of pressure on their life. Oh, they have a second one. Okay, that's unfortunate for me. That's not the way I would have planned it. So let's do Stussy. Play out Bonney. Use card action. We're going to put 2 on lead. We're going to put 1 here. We're going to swing a 6 lead. Expect to take a good number of cards here. And then a 7. We'll either take the blocker or 2 more cards. Okay, get the blocker out of the way. That's good. Blockers can be annoying. We don't have a ton of options here. This Kukinojo is going to be great for kind of forcing the game to go pretty long here. We can protect it a little bit, but as soon as their leader starts coming out, we gotta let it go. So Zoro will not be able to go twice at Stussy, which is helpful. If they just go an 8, we can do a block 2k, and then my board is protected essentially from the leader at that point, and they have to use the Tashigi to swing at board. So that would be an ideal spot. It's nice that this Hiyori can just be something that this Bonney can swing into potentially. Looking through their cards, opponent's taking this pretty slow and deliberate, which I can't blame them. If you've got a lot of suboptimal picks in your thing, picking the right of the suboptimal ones is tough. Tashigis are obviously great. They find the Tashigi. They're thinking pretty hard on picking their undisputed best card. So if they just swing an 8, then I get off pretty free. Let's see what they do though, because they got the 2 left. I wonder how they're going to choose to use it. 7 there. I am going to let that one go. Here we will block 2k. They get to restand. They do not get to swing at either of my board characters. And then we take here. Rest of 4 is not what we need. Oh my god, they hit the 3rd Kyoshiro. So at least we get to do this. We get to play a U. Use card action. Pitch one of these to get rid of the Kyoshiro. Let's go for a 7 at lead. And I think with this many 2Ks, I think we probably can survive a lot of swing. Well, maybe not. There's so much that the leader does. We will go 7-9 then. If they take both of these, is that correct? Go for it. I can do a 10. 10's probably not enough though. I think we probably hold 2 blocks and yeah, I have to think that this is not correct to go for it. I think I have to wait on 2 blockers here. It's unfortunate, but I do think that it is probably correct. They found 3 of the Koshiros. We know they play Kuina. That's something I hadn't caught on to before. Hopefully they don't have enough of the restand events, because that's what gets us is the restand events at this point. If they have like 2 restand events and swing 9 3 times, then 7 2 more times, then that's how we get got. I think 2 blockers, 2 life though is a lot for them to push through. If they find another blocker like a okay, they have the Dead Man's Game, so they can do 8 8 7 7. 8 8. We get out of 8 and a 7. All right, so 8. I have to go at one of the Stussies first because that's gonna be a free one. I have to let it go because I can't defend them. Because that just gives them a free counter because they get to swing it face here. If it's 8 8 7 7, then we get out of the 2 7s and take the 2 8s. Okay, we have to get out of this one. We can take one of the 7s. I'm not going to use this trigger. 8. We will take this one because we need our opponent to go for it. Okay. And then 2K, 2K. All right. 5. Oh, they even used a 2K here. Let's go 6, and then we'll go stack on Bonney here. You know what? Let's just do it like this. 7. And then 11 is guaranteed at this point. Good games to our opponent. I don't know if there was different ways I could have played that. I think I was correct to leave up both Stussies in the counter here. There's definitely a world because we get rid of the 7s. If they just go a third, no, because they have to get rid of these. That's getting rid of 2 things. All right, yeah, I think we played that pretty well. And I guess let's hop back to the wrap up. So we're wrapping up with this list, and I will continue to play this list. No worries there if you guys are liking this one. Things that I'm thinking, I'm wondering if all of the Kikunojas are necessary. I'm not 100% sure. We go to 4 costs in yellow. The things that I might consider as just other options, Sanji gives us a little more surprise stuff. And what else do we have that we could try on the 4 costs? Because I think we do want the 2 4 costs. This has been good having the 2 4 costs, 2 5 costs. I would like some more 6 costs if I could. And I think I would at that point have to shave some of the Stussies. Stussi is great, but not having counter and not being able to trigger the leader, I think it would be nice to maybe swap one of these out. The boas are great as well, and the Namis I think are maybe good against everything but the top meta. They're not great against Sabo, not great against Ace, not great against Emu. So it's definitely reasonable to swap those out as well. I had one of my commenters suggest the Zoro here, which lets you rest one of your opponent's leaders or character, which can let you rest the 10 drop, Newgate, and the 6 drop out of Emu. So there's something to be said about those. Other 5 drops, this S Snake is good for that kind of tempo, stay ahead of your opponent. I think that Brook is another one that could be interesting. Even though this is the one that gets around blockers, this is the one that you can use to really kind of mess up your opponent's hand. Other things you could consider, Luffy is kind of in the same zone as Nami. It's got a little bit more power. Jinbei does not work against Emu. It does work reasonable against Ace a little bit. You have to give him, if you give them back their Marco, they have to use that Marco essentially to counter with using their leader ability. Sanji is one that I could see as just another like, you can't kill me thing. So there's a bunch of different options you could use for this 5 drop slot. I think that just due to the nature of some of these having alt arts and some of them not, I'd probably going to preference the ones with alt arts because of how much of this deck I already have alted out. But yeah, there's a lot of options here. Yeah, I'm going to tinker around with this list. I think this is quite an interesting list. I wonder even if there's some of the 2Ks that we could try not running. This Beji feels like it can be explosive, but I do think that there's definitely some room for not needing the defensive play quite as heavily and needing something a little more offensive. So looking at 2Ks we could run. This Usopp is one that I hadn't realized during reading it. It is not just on your turn. It is on your turn your opponent's turn because they trigger it out, and on your turn subsequently from there. So that's pretty interesting. That's not something I had seen. Satori is another one, just as an offensive trigger. I've seen in Japan that this Edison is pretty favored, just as a way of getting around some of the chump blockers. If your opponents are playing into the chump blockers early to try to stay healthy, you can use this guy to tap them down. Otama, I think, is a pretty good mainstay here. Her ability doesn't always come up, but there are enough times where that extra 3K can make a difference in just exerting that extra bit of pressure. I do really like Frankie still. It feels like Beji with a little bit more of an aggressive bent. When you're at the end of the game, it's not usually that you need the I need to be saved by my triggers. It's I need to catch my opponent off guard with an extra swing. So that's typically what I found that I like Frankie over Beji. But they're both quite strong. Another thing you could consider, which is not something that you would want to consider lightly, would be going with a no trigger 2K, just because these 2Ks are not usually getting played out. Otama sometimes is, but Beji you are never playing out, so it's never relevant that it has the trigger for Bonney. It's only in its own trigger. So if you could find one where it has more benefit to actually play it out at some point, it would need to probably be a one cost potentially, with something when you're playing. I'd have to think about it. I think there's probably room for exploring some of these other ones. Hiyori, I think, is one of the ones that I have high on my list. Zeus, while it has the same issue that Nami does, where it's not super good in the meta, Zeus could be an option you could explore. Amon doesn't get anything done. I would probably pick X-Drake over Amon. Now it's not the rush one. Yeah, it's hard to find another 2K that works. Even Flampe could be a thing that you play out just as a way your opponents aren't swinging at you and they're swinging at your board and you need stuff to defend them. You can play out Flampe to help you defend your board. But at this point I'm rambling, so I will cut it off here. Thanks for hanging out and watching some of these Bonney videos, and I will see you guys again soon with some more Bonney content and probably some other waifus as well. But I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.